You are watching SHOUTcraft, exciting entry-level esports commentary with myself, TotalBiscuit.
And here we go, spawning at the north position. We have Socke as blue Protoss yet again, and again as yellow Terran. We have Kawaiirice, also known as Fate of Seven, yellow Terran. And again, this is one of my new favorite maps in the game because strategy on this map can be very interesting, especially concerning should the map go on long enough, should the match go on long enough, I should say, for what will happen on this high ground plateau, what I call the two-lane highway.
Indeed. Notice Socke is a very chilled-out player early on in the game. He's not like some of those other guys that really spam their... I say that, and then he goes and does it, doesn't he? He doesn't spam his APM all that much. A lot of players like to keep warmed up, keep limber by spamming APM early on in the game, and Socke doesn't appear to be someone like that. He's a very laid-back kind of dude.
Yeah, you would think his picture would betray that.
It does. There's no question about that. It really does.
So Socke, here we go. Very typical early builds from both players thus far. I'm interested in seeing what Kawaiirice decides to do early on in this matchup this time, because he was really on the back foot until that initial attacking force with Socke was taken out by a solid defense. And really, Socke pushed forward with a bit of an unbalanced force early on. As you pointed out, there were a lot of...
It was sentry heavy, which is a little bit odd, unless you're trying to contain your opponent, which I think he was doing for a little while. But the thing is, he didn't then do anything with that proxy pylon, so it was all futile. And it is a little bit odd to pump out so many sentries early on because they're not the best damage. They do have a lot of utility, but primarily they are tier 1 support caster units.
Socke has already made his way into the base of Kawaiirice here with a single probe. He's just going to do some quick scouting, it looks like.
Indeed. He's looking for a very starch look on his opponent.
And running away... Toot sweet, not really blaming him, just wanted to get some early information there. No proxy pylon, it looks like.
Nothing fancy.
Pylon just finished inside the base of Socke, as did his first gateway. Cybernetics core is already on the way. So again, typical build from both players thus far.
Indeed, it was a nice slide there by Socke's probe right. They just slipped behind Fate 7. It's like some kind of Formula 1 racing thing going on right here. We've got the SCV plowing its way across the map, and right behind it in the slipstream with the probe and pushing his way into the base. He's going to have a look around, see what he can see, and he will see the boring build. And he'll be highly disappointed.
Oh. Another pylon going up, putting up 3 pylons relatively early. Factory already on the way here for Kawaiirice as well. I like that he's already going for a factory because Hellions can be absolutely devastating on this map. It's a relatively small map. It's not huge by any means, and you can get some very nice harassment with Hellions early on.
The thing is, against the boring build, that doesn't work quite so well because you've got the Stalkers coming out very, very early, so you need to kind of get a critical mass of Hellions to be able to push your way past that, and the Stalkers are going to be able to pick at the Hellions from a reasonable range, and the Hellions will generally be repulsed. However, Socke's going in for some very, very early game aggression indeed. Single Stalker, single Zealot up against 4 Marines in a bunker, which can only really end one way.
I'm going to feel sorry for the Stalker when he realizes what's in his way. No, it looks like they're going to just try and scout out and make sure there's nothing at either of the Xel'Naga towers first. They're not going to charge straight in. Might actually be waiting for some backup.
Indeed, he's going to have to wait a little while until he can sock it to him.
Aha! I see what you did
You
there.
know you've missed about 14 Socke puns thus far. I should just point that out.
I know. Wow, triple gating immediately is Socke. 3 more gateways on the way far back in his base, so it'll be pretty difficult to scout this out.
Oh, yeah.
Has just this 2 units waiting at the top of the ramp, just actually 3 now because he does have a sentry, waiting to pounce, waiting for their backup to arrive because Warp Gate will be finishing at almost the exact same time.
Nice transition at 4 gateways there by Socke, which should do the job, really, and just throw lots and lots of gateway units at that wall and it will collapse. The question is, what is the counter to that? Well, right now, Fate 7 is sitting on a factory. He's also got a barracks up and a Stargate, so he has gone 1-1-1, and he's grabbing a Banshee. Cloak.
And he's going for Cloak straight up, and there's a proxy pylon incredibly close to the front of the base here of Kawaiirice. It's going to be difficult for him to deal with this first Stalker being warped in. I expect a few more momentarily.
Oh, yes, they are already on their way. Stalkers and Zealots coming in for some early aggression here by Socke. I mean, look at that. That is a good force he's got right there. This time, balancing out the number of sentries he's got, and he's got 3 of the Zealots and 3 of the Stalkers, and 2 of those sentries up against 7 Marines, which is a clear win for Socke, even with the bunker bunker in there, but I have to wonder what he's going to do with that Banshee. That Banshee's almost down, and he has a siege tank on the way.
Siege tank could be absolutely vital in this matchup. Of course, he's not even close to researching siege tech, though. Just warped in 2 more stalkers and a single zealot. This is going to be very difficult to ward off here for
That's a lot
Kawaiirice.
of pressure he's about to throw in there, especially using those sentries. Look at that. He's able to minimize all that marine damage. It's basically for naught right here. Single siege tank not going to help him too much, but actually Socke ended up sticking himself in there. He can't drive his way through there just yet, but it's only a matter of time until Socke gets into the base. He says, I'm going to take 1, and I might even take 2 supply depots if I'm feeling a little bit fruity. And that's exactly what's going to happen right now.
Brilliant move that I did not catch this entire time.
From the
there was
side.
another proxy pylon to the left at the natural expansion of Kawaiirice. So he was able to come in with 4 more zealots and take that second ramp at the same time.
Kawai's got
this
nothing.
match is totally in Socke's favor.
This is I mean, to be honest, Fate 7 Kawaiirice does have a single cloaked Banshee, but that cloak is going to wear off eventually. Got second cloak Banshee up right now. Look at the charge in there from the side. Fate 7 repulses it with many SCVs. Coming for both sides. Oh, look, Socke's actually getting crushed right here, but he has inflicted a huge amount of damage in the process.
He actually lost that siege tank there at the end of this skirmish. 2 zealots still trying to do as much pressure as they can, but it looks like they're still going after that stalker. Want to take that out, and with nothing but zealots to try and take care of these banshees can go to town for a little bit.
No doubt about that, but watch out, because the cloaking energy is running out on the second Banshee, and we could get a catch in at some point. The thing is, the proxy pylon's been taken out, but this one right down the bottom hasn't. And we've now got 4 zealots moving in for more pressure from Socke. He's going to slide in there as Kawaiirice thinks he's safe. He thinks he's repulsed it. He thinks he's got the proxy pylon. No, he hasn't, because in come the zealots once again. Siege tank trying to repulse them as much as they can. He's trying to take some damage here, but it's not going to happen. Chasing down that siege tank, running desperately into the mineral line for some defense right there. It's a good way to do it. With repairs, it will push the zealots back.
Loses one of those zealots, second coming in. Here come the Banshees for good measure.
That's odd,
Gonna
yeah.
be able to ward off that one zealot. He's actually managing a pretty decent defense here, but the pressure is continuous with that proxy pylon. Second proxy pylon placed back where it was by Socke here at the upper ground.
And I'd be more concerned about the fact that he now is an observer, so that cloaked Banshee wild card is not going to be of any use anymore. It's going to be caught out. Oh, nice one. Kawaiirice manages to find one of the proxy pylons, but he hasn't found the second one that is now sitting on the top of the cliff right there. More pressure is on its way. If we have a look at unit count right here, we'll see we've got 7 zealots, 5 stalkers, a single observer, and they're up against 3 banshees, which are going to get caught out right here. Look at that force of stalkers backing him into a corner, and there's the cloak. Observer hasn't caught up yet. He's going to have to wait for that, but here we go, because the observer's coming in right now, might be able to catch out Kawaiirice. Big damage done to that once again, trying to outrun the observer, and now running onto the line there with a single siege tank, but not enough to defend.
Not really. He's only got 2 Marines in that bunker, trying to do as much damage as he can. Tank at the back. Yes, very nice job using those Banshees to focus fire on the Stalkers. But is he down to just 2? He's down to just 1, and close and out.
That is it, ladies and gentlemen. That is it. He takes him out very nicely right there. As I say, the Observer caught him out, and Kawaiirice relying a little bit too much on those cloaked Banshees that worked so well for him early game. But then, as soon as the Observer came out, they were neutralized, and it's good game in favor of Socke.